Fantastic. Today we've got a really interesting introduction. I met Blends by Emma, who lives in Dubai, on the London Rail course. So she is in the forefront of information, getting it out to people in Dubai who do not have the opportunity necessarily to come across essential oils and the benefits that they can have on your health. Simple information, getting it out to the people so that they can really make a difference. With proper guidance, can be extremely powerful. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Blends by Emma.
Hi, how are you?
Great, fantastic. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience and get across what you do in your words? Because I'm sure you can explain it far better than I can.
Sure. So my name's Em, and I'm the founder of Blends by Em, which so it's an aromatherapy practice. I'm a clinical aromatherapist operating here in Dubai. So I've lived here for about 5 years, which I guess in the scheme of things is not a long time, but it's certainly given me a chance to learn a lot about the place and the way it works. And yeah, I think my mission in life and my mission here as well is really to just help people to understand how much they can do for themselves using natural products, and how you don't always have to rely on pharmaceuticals or traditional medicine. Look, traditional medicine works wonders. It does amazing things for people. Absolute respect for everything they do, but I think a lot of people have sort of felt like that's the only option, and it's definitely not. There's so much you can do for yourself, and aromatherapy, you know, when you understand how to make blends and what the oils can do and all of the different properties and how they work with the body, it's such a simple thing to do for yourself. And so everything I'm about really is trying to make it accessible to people. So I publish videos, I have courses. It's all about trying to make this information accessible to people so that more people want to look after themselves using natural therapies, really.
Yeah, and this is the key message. The democratization of health, as I would like to brand it if I could, is a great idea of getting the information out so that we can use simple techniques bonded together. So, for example, I came into contact with this in the clinic, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to reach out to you, because I've seen in the clinic how it can be really effective for people who need that ability to relax. They're getting rid of stress, which is a huge factor. If they can just relax into the massage, which often, if we're using Indonesian oil massage and Twina, can be quite unpleasant at times. But using certain oils blended with marjoram and lavender and frankincense by one of my colleagues who makes that up for me, I've seen the difference that it makes, particularly in my experience, for men who come in, and it just gets in under the radar and allows them to get rid of some of these tensions in their life. The two things together have a much greater effect in conjunction than either of the two separately could ever have done. And this surprises people. And you're helping people to understand the chemistry behind it, understanding the requirements for really good quality essential oils. Some of your articles speak quite in depth about that I've seen. So what is your big takeaway for people? What's the first thing that people need to know in terms of looking after their health? Where do they look for information in terms of the aromatherapy?
Well, aromatherapy is the industry or the field has been sort of a little, like, there's a few issues at the moment with a lot of misinformation being out there, and that's because of there's a couple of big multi-level marketing brands who obviously their mission is really, I think, you know, at their core they're well intended, but they are propagating a lot of information that's not correct, and people unknowingly engage with the methods and things that they spruik, and it's not necessarily the safest or the most correct way to do things. And the other thing is, you know, aromatherapy has exploded in the last few years in terms of popularity, and mainly because of those big brands who have such a massive global reach. Which is great in one respect, that more people are aware of essential oils, but it's a double-edged sword, because it's now, there's a lot of companies jumping on the bandwagon, creating what they call essential oils and labeling things like therapeutic quality and
really?
pure and organic, and they're not necessarily
Really?
that at all. And because it's not closely regulated, it's not like things don't have to be FDA approved, or they don't have to go through any sort of process. You can start up a brand tomorrow selling what you claim to be essential oils, and there's really no way that anyone can tell whether they're quality or not. And as an aromatherapist, you can tell immediately when an oil you're using is not a pure essential oil, because it just doesn't have the effect. So it's, and I think a lot of people, they go to a chemist or they go to a supermarket and they buy a cheap thing that's branded as an essential oil, and they take it home and they use it and they go, well, that didn't do anything. Like, this is obviously just rubbish. And
just doesn't work, does it? Can't work.
Just doesn't work. And it's like going and buying a placebo bottle of headache pills and taking them and going, well, that didn't work. It didn't get rid of the headache. It's the same concept. So.
Yeah, and this is the risk, isn't it? But your ability to cut through this and get the information out to people through your channels, you've got a great website with an easy access through that. So I think getting this information has never been easier for people. They can engage, they can then start to maybe get the basic experience under their belt, and then use and bounce information off you. Do you do like one-to-one sessions with people as well? Are you offering that to people? How can people who are really on the cusp of this breakthrough in their own life really get into the wealth of your experience, especially because you're starting this in Dubai, that, like you said, doesn't have this well-established institutional aromatherapy, which actually I would argue is a really good thing, in the sense that you've got this capacity to stay outside of the censorship, outside of the band of brothers, if I can say, that run the cabal across the world. The pharmaceutical industry really gets a very poor rep these days, rightly so. And I think anything you can do to get this information out there. So do you offer that sort of service to people to spread the knowledge?
Absolutely. So I have a practice here in Dubai that people can come and see me in person.
Wow.
And as you say, one of the biggest things with aromatherapy, so an aromatherapy consultation, it's different to, so when you go to see a doctor, they're on a time clock, they've got 15 minutes, they want to know what are your symptoms and what am I going to prescribe you to treat them. That's very much the approach, which is, you know, that's what it's been turned into because of time and money. So with it, when you see an aromatherapist, I would sit there with you and look at the holistic, what's going on in your life. So I want to know about, like, our consultation form is quite extensive. So it's about your medical history, any medications you're taking, any supplements you're taking, what are you eating, what are you drinking, are you exercising, wow. You know, so looking at the whole person, because rarely is a symptom that you present with just a symptom. It's usually part of a bigger problem. And what I've discovered in my time practicing is it tends to be related to an emotional issue that's happening in the background that people just aren't even aware of, or they think it's not causing the issue, but it's manifesting in their body in all sorts of different ways. And that is one of the most powerful, amazing things about aromatherapy.
Really?
Is that the oils work at different levels. They work at a physical level, but they also work at an emotional and mental level to really release some of those issues and problems. And the big shifts I see in people are, once, you know, with the combination of the consultation, the massage, the oils, they just start to see things that they've not seen before in their life, and they start to be able to heal in ways that are so much deeper than what they've ever been able to do with just trying medications. So you can come to see me here and we have a consultation. I can do a massage, make the blend on the spot, use the massage, use the blend in the massage to create you something to take home, you know, all that sort of stuff. There's lots of different things I can do here. But I also offer online consultations for anybody, because as I say, I wanted to try and get the message to as many people as possible. So online, we go through the same consultation process. I can still make you a blend and I'll just send it out.
Really? Oh,
To
really?
you.
Oh,
Or
wow.
if you have your own oils, I can give you the exact way to make it, and you make it for yourself as well. And then take it along to your massage therapist and get them to use it on you, for you, so that you're still getting it into the skin, because getting it through that blood barrier system is really the key to getting it into the body so that it can do its great work. So yeah, so that's really what I can do for people. And then the content that I create, I'm trying to create as much as I can about the oils so that people understand the chemical compositions of the oils, how to use them, how they're extracted, what they do for the body, what they can be combined with to do, you know, different. And again, it's the sum of all the oils that makes them so powerful. Single oils are great as well, but it's that. And then sometimes I'll post recipes or ideas for how to make different products for yourself, or how to make them for somebody else. You know, your kids, your parents, your family, whatever it might be. So, as you say, I love that term, democratization of aromatherapy. That's really 100% what it's about.
It really is getting this back to the grassroots, because these practices go back thousands upon thousands of years, possibly even longer. If you listen to Graham Hancock, and I love Graham Hancock, it's great. You know, we've been here before. So as far as this is concerned, getting this to the next generation is really important, because we are on this by chance. Perhaps we've reached this position in our evolution, I suppose, where people are not wanting the mainstream anymore. That they've, over the last 10, 15 years, this is what I've seen in my practice, and working with traditional medicine, combining all these really old techniques together with a nod and a wink towards the modern medicine techniques as well, that what I call conventional medicine, using the idea of the natural selection. If it survives the next generation, it's probably because it works. So it's our duty to pass it on to that generation. So this educational aspect has a much greater funneling effect, a shotgun effect out into the environment. So you could, I would assume, you could actually, you could get information if people wanted to provide oils for a partner, or they wanted to help them de-stress in their life. And this is what I find people, their partners come into the clinic first, and they say, my husband, he doesn't listen to me, he doesn't do any of this, and he won't come for a treatment. But once their partners are engaged and they see the benefit, then there comes a tipping point where eventually those who are more intransigent, I'm a bit stubborn myself, will eventually, with the tide, they will come down to the clinic, and they will then have this sort of, how could I put it, this Archimedes moment, this euphoric moment where suddenly she was right, okay, or he was right, whatever, and they then see this benefit, which then has an amazing opportunity, because they then go and sing your praises. So getting this information out to those who are receptive, so that they can then pass it on +1 in standard networking, is a really powerful thing. And we have even something even more powerful, the media. We have this wonderful new media. So you're doing online articles, you've got the blog, you're doing video blogs as well. You know, what's the best way in which people can get in contact with you? Are you using Facebook primarily, using Instagram? What's your best experience to get in touch with people?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Blends by M. I've just started a YouTube channel actually, to just try and keep everything on there as well, but I'm very new to YouTube, so I'm just trying to work that out. But that's, and you can contact me by email as well, which is on the site. I've got a website, of course, as well, which is where you can, you know, contact me or sign up for courses. I was going to say that, Ed, I mean, it's so true what you say about the partners. The number of times it's either the partner approaching me first, or somebody will come and they will say, they will feel the benefits and they'll go, oh my gosh, I need to get my husband or my wife here. Because they've got this issue and that issue. The other way that that a lot of people come to me is they're at the end of their road. So they've done
Really?
every piece of conventional medicine that has been offered to them. They've tried all the drugs, they've done everything, and then the doctors have gone, yeah, we're done. Like, we've got nothing else to offer you, so bad luck. And often that's autoimmune. I find that autoimmune is something that they just put as a bucket for everything that they can't explain. It's, oh, you've got an autoimmune.
Yeah. Wear and tear.
So the number of those you get.
Just don't do it. Why are you doing that?
Basically,
yeah.
we don't know what's wrong with you, so go away and stop bothering us.
It's a virus. It's a virus. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that at the moment. Sorry.
but though, and I love getting people. I mean, I'd much prefer to get people way before that point. But
yeah.
when you do have somebody come who's reached the end of that road, they're really scared, and they're like, I have nothing else to try here. Like, I just need something, so I'm coming to you. And then they see, and you start to help them understand how much they can do for themselves just by making a few small changes in their life, adding a couple of oils. That is the truly life-changing stuff to see happen. And they start to get that confidence again that, you know what, I don't need to rush to my doctor because I've got X, because I know that it's because of this that I didn't do for myself, or whatever it might be. You know, the knowledge that people can gain very quickly about themselves when they pay attention to their body and they listen to what it's telling them and they go with whatever it's telling them. I think that's been the truly life-changing aspect of seeing this work. So yeah, anyone, I mean, you don't have to wait till you're in that state to contact me. Like, way before that would be great.
We're at this point where, again, there's so many gaps in the process, and it's like a sand filter, isn't it? Most of it comes through. People so much now are falling through the process of going to the GP, certainly in this country, in the UK. I'm surprised to a certain degree it's the same in Dubai. I used to live in Dubai in 2005 briefly, and it's again another irony that we've made contact and so many sort of networks. You're only just around the corner, really, within network. It's fascinating, isn't it, how people interact? But there's so many gaps in that people fall through, and there's nothing to catch them underneath them until they understand that there's a whole system of very archaic, very well-established knowledge that if you can just find, like I always call it the battery tab. Once you find the battery tab on the new device, you pull this out, then you realise, oh, it works. Finding that is the initial aspect that people need to do.
It is finding it and believing it, because we are so fear conditioned now that we're so programmed that we can't do this alone, that our body is not capable of coping with everything that gets thrown at it in the environment and everything that's going on. We are conditioned to believe that. So there is a process where people reach out, they start looking around at alternatives, but they have to make that mental shift to go, you know what, I actually believe truly that this works, and the power of the mind is not to be underestimated.
It's really opened my mind years ago when I was first looking at acupuncture and qualifying in acupuncture, coming from a very empirical forensic background where you've either got the evidence in front of you, habeas corpus, or you haven't, and you're not interested in anything outside that. It really opened my mind hugely because I was the patient. So I ended up then thinking, well, actually, we need to be looking at this more. If the same amount of resources were poured into aromatherapy or traditional medicine as they are into pharmaceuticals, how much further would we be? You know, this supercharging of your ability to get healthcare once you know and you understand your body much better, and it's not rocket science. You know, I always say to people, you know, we've got into this pattern of the health authorities talking down, you know, at the patients. Oh, we can provide you with this, Mrs. Jones. We'll see you next Friday, 2:00. Lovely. Yep. And it's getting out of this world where actually the individual wakes up and they go, okay, something's not right. I know something's not, or my partner, something is not right over there. And there's a change, there's a shift there. It's not really airy-fairy, it's very physical. You know, sometimes you get, let's say, a bit more DOMs, maybe after training, you're thinking, oh, now what's going on here? Maybe I need to be doing some gentle massage. Well, use some aromatherapy oils in there and get the real benefit of that. Absolutely fantastic, before it becomes a massive issue. So that's that ability to go to your, if you do need some help, go to your therapist, and suddenly you can relay this massive information. I've had people come to me who can't come to me physically through online appointments. They see me, and they've gone to their chiropractor, and they've relayed what I've sort of gently exposed them to, the knowledge. And the chiropractor's gone, where on earth have you come across this? You know, that's way outside. Well, I don't know what to do with that knowledge, you know. But they as the recipient has actually said, I need this. Your job is to apply that, which I cannot do with my own two hands. That's what I need, and I want your help. Here's the hand of peace. Let's work together. But that's what I need, rather than I've got back pain. Great, brilliant. Well, then, you know, don't taking responsibility for this individually is the greatest liberation of all, I would argue. What's your experience on that?
I would 150% agree. And it's kind of the hardest thing to get some people to do, depending on how deeply conditioned they are. And I find that especially people who grew up with doctors or nurses or sort of certain types of environments, they don't really truly believe it, and even when they can see the benefits working, they'll explain it away as oh, it's because I did this or I took this or whatever. And it's just continuing to remember that human beings have been around for a while, and we've been able to survive for a while without any pharmaceuticals. And that is the most empowering way, I think, to live your life, is to know that you have 100% control over what you put in your body, really. Absolutely. What you choose to do with your body, whether you choose to listen to the messages that it's telling you or not. And the other thing that I'm very into at the moment and getting more and more involved with is the mental side of it. So whatever messages you're giving yourself is what's changing the outcomes in your life. And people just don't believe it. They think that it's everything around them. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. It's only when you start looking inwards and you go, what am I thinking about every day when I wake up? What am I doing for my routine? You know, and the oils can be so beautifully just molded into anyone's lifestyle and whatever they're doing. And that psycho level that they work on, the subtleties of what they introduce into the way that you look at yourself, the way you think about yourself, how much you love yourself, and what you're willing to do to improve your own health and well-being. That's the true magic of them, I think. So yes, they can help treat conditions, or not treat, I'm not allowed to say treat conditions, but they can certainly help with, you know, skin issues. They can help with arthritis. They can help with pain. They can help with inflammation. They can do all those amazing things on a physical level, but it's that psychological and mental level that where they really do their best work. And that's truly something that has to be experienced to be believed. I think, and once someone tries it, like you say, the number of people I've seen who leave here after their treatments, and they're just blown away, and all they want to do is talk to everyone they know to go, you need to try this. It makes it works wonders for you. You know, it's one of those things you've really got to try it.
It's a red pill moment, isn't it? You know, you break out of the matrix and you realize, okay, well, now we've got a few tools we can use, you know, and suddenly this is an amazing thing. Bit of a curved ball question, maybe just winding down. Have you ever done any aromatherapy for animals?
I have not, but my mentor here, who was my teacher, she does a little bit of it and has had great success with it. Yeah, I think, again, you just have to be careful with which oils dilutions and how you use them on animals. But look, an animal is just a different it's just a different being. It's still an energetic being like everything. It's still made up of molecules. It's still all the same stuff, atoms, molecules, the whole thing. So of course they're going to do amazing things for animals as well, but again, it's just making sure that you're using them correctly and safely.
Absolutely. The reason I ask is because coming from a very empirical background, I've got a friend circle and patient circle outside of that who are very empirically scientifically minded. The thing that the thread that just picks this apart for them, and this there might be something outside the map that we've drawn, is their animals. They come to me and they said, God, I've had acupuncture for my horse and my dog, and it's worked wonders. Yeah, and they're scratching their head like this, you know. And I said to them, well, you know, I always use Mrs. Jones. I've got a couple of Mrs. Jones, so they might have a laugh at this. You know, well, actually, maybe that might work for you also, Mrs. Jones. We're all mammals, okay, you know, and I'm sure it works for birds and for reptiles as well. But that's how I've broken this skepticism, this healthy scientific logical skepticism that people generate in the modern world down, because they then realize, actually, yes, I'm going to have a go. And even if they don't describe it in terms of energy flow and Chinese medicine, energy theory, great, fantastic, although that is, they understand it in their own minds, in their own language. And suddenly the floodgates open and all of their friends come. And it's like this avalanche of people, you know. It's fascinating. That's what I've seen as the real sort of, the real sort of way into this from an organic standpoint, because you can take the horse to water, but you can't make a drink with a lot of people. But once they understand that something that they empathize with has benefited, immediately that's it, that they are signed up 100%. So
well, and the other big thing I see is women. So I treat a lot of women, and especially mothers, full-time working women. And they come to me, and the guilt that they're even coming to me, that they're spending money on themselves, that they're taking time to have a massage, it's palpable. And I find that one of the most disturbing parts of how women have evolved to this point, because it's like you're conditioned to think that if you spend time on yourself, then you're taking time away from your family, or you're being selfish, or you're spending money on things. And often too, it'll be, you know, I can't afford the oil that's going to support me through this stressful period in my life, but I'll go buy a bottle of wine to drink tonight, and I'll go, you know, or I'll go buy that expensive face cream because it makes me feel like I've indulged myself. It's actually just full of chemicals that are slowly, you know.
Absolutely.
and that, you know, that self-love and understanding how important that is to be able to give yourself 100% to your family and to what you're trying to do and to be your best in life, that has kind of been lost by the wayside somewhere. And look, I'm sure it's the same for men as well, but I've just seen it more with women, that especially that guilt. As soon as you have children, it's almost like as soon as you spend any time doing something for yourself, then you're a bad mother. And that's just so important to break down, I think. And to just connect back to, if you're not 100% at your best, then you can't be your best for other people.
I agree.
And that's another message.
Well, this is it. I mean, gosh, I mean, that is the philosophy of life in itself, isn't it? And this sort of self-help and this self-worth, when it's really started to come through, as I saw it in literature about 10 years ago, it was a really powerful tool, but now it seems almost overused, you know, and it seems to have lost its impact on the ground. But once you understand, once people understand that, okay, they will spend the money for their children, they will protect the children, they run them up and down the country to get them to all sorts of activities, great, and they should. But they wouldn't do it for themselves. They wouldn't spend 15, 20 minutes going to have a chat to a friend in a coffee bar, or they wouldn't go necessarily, because that's the core issue. They've lost that connection to their longevity is so important, that they seem disconnected, but they will do it for everyone else. And once they realize that, and you hold hand out and say, let's go, let's go on this journey, and they realize that, what an amazing transformation, the phoenix comes out of this, and I've seen that a lot with people, and it can go too far the other way as well, but wanting appointments at 6 a.m. I know a few people who do, and that's fine. I do offer that as a service, ironically, in the physical world. In the real world, I call it outside of all this. But it's what a fascinating, you never know where these discussions will go sometimes, but what a fascinating philosophical discussion of how people can maximize their opportunities in life. Is there anything I've missed you'd like to get across to people?
Gosh, I think I could sit here and talk about this all day. But no, I think, look, for anyone who's watching out there, it really is easy to understand, or to get more involved in understanding your own body, your own health, and how much control you have over the outcomes of your life. And it just is about sometimes taking that first step. And if that first step is watching an instructional video that teaches you a little bit, that you start to then go, oh, okay, maybe I'll try and buy an oil, and maybe I'll try and make something, or maybe I'll go see an aromatherapist, or trying something that then, like you say, it opens those floodgates, that you start to then build a bit of confidence that actually, maybe this does work, and maybe I can actually do it, and maybe my life can improve with not spending a lot of money or time, but just focusing a little bit more inwardly on what I can do. I just think, I encourage every single person who sees anything like this to just try it, because I've never seen a bad outcome, let me put it that way.
Really? This is it, because one final point from my perspective is that a lot of the traditional medicine techniques are seen by the conventional medicine as very superficial. But they're superficial for a reason, because they don't leave a scarring in their wake. So you can experiment quite intensively with these, and to a high degree, without in a professional world, significant risk to the patient. So in that world, then suddenly, what can you not treat? Because you can really get into it, you can break it down, emotional issues, you can get in there, you can tease these out. How can it not have an effect? How can it not have a positive benefit? And suddenly when the risks aren't there, your ability to shovel all this out then is massive, because you're not worried about hitting the electrics with the shovel, because your effect is superficial enough, but powerful once you have that bonding with the individual to make a real change to their life. And that is my experience, gosh, in 10 years, I think, of looking after myself and then on to other people. And we need to get this message out. So let's spread this as far and as wide as we can. It's been really thank you very much for your time, and I'd love to do it again at some point. Maybe we can do a Q&A with people, and let's get this information out.
Agreed. Thanks so much, Ed. Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Speak to you again soon.